Why would you be using these kids to promote your political agenda? Think about that. Why would you have to use victims and children to advance your political agenda? You know why? Because you cannot advance your political agenda based on merit. You cannot advance your political agenda based on success, based on history. So what do? They use virtue. They use emotion. They use fabrication. They use lies because they cannot advance their political agenda based on merit.
The globalists are losing, but they're doubling down their attacks. There's one thing they fear, and it's people power. InfoWars has defeated their censorship so far only because of you spreading the links, spreading the articles, subscribing, clicking the notification buttons, and getting the articles and videos out. But they are intensifying their censorship, so now it's more important than ever to ensure we keep the First Amendment alive and well right here in America and free speech worldwide. So from Australia to countries in Africa, to Europe, to Mexico, to right here in the USA, I salute you all for taking action and defending free speech. We will prevail.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
So now, not only do I shouldn't say all the students feel that way. We're just hearing from the same few students. And again, I'm playing a lot of these things. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not trying to cover some of the angles from this. I'll be honest with you, because there's just too much gray area and there's too much fog right now. But what it looks like is that the reason why the same people keep appearing on TV is because they are the ones being trained, and they may actually even have some experience in, acting. But that's another story for another day, is my guess. However, you've got these same students. We just played the video in the last segment. They are more upset with President Trump that, honestly had nothing to do with this. How you could blame Trump for this is beyond me, but they find a way to do it. But they're more upset with President Trump over the school shooting than the FBI. The FBI was tipped off about Nikolas Cruz in September 2017, and it turns out that in September of 2017 is when they were making their break on the Russians. The Russians! They got their 13 indictments of Russians. And you know what's going to come of that, folks? Absolutely nothing. Literally nothing. You know why? Because Putin isn't going to extradite 13 Russians. It's not going to happen. And now this Dutch banker that Mueller's indicted today, he's not going to get extradited either. Oh, but it was all part of the plan. Release the indictments while the Florida shooting was stealing all the headlines, so that Mueller's indictments, nobody actually looks into them. It becomes a surface coverage, and they say, oh, yeah, Mueller got him. Oh. And then back in Florida, what are they saying? Trump's the bad guy. This is Trump's fault. What do you think about Trump calling out the FBI for missing the signs that Nikolas Cruz was going to do this and not following through, even though they were tipped off about it? Trump's the bad guy. FBI good, even though it's potentially their fault. Trump bad. That's what these students are saying. But now, even though that logic, unfortunately for these young students, and they're young, David Knight coined the term youthful idiots. It's a good play on words, but I don't want to be insensitive to these kids, and it's tough. That's why they use the kids as pawns, because they don't want you to attack them, and they know that a good person would have a little reserve as far as responding to these kids right now, but you have to call it what it is. But now CNN, even though these kids are more upset with Trump than the FBI, even though it was the FBI that ignored the signs of Cruz, CNN is now saying that they should be able to vote. Roll clip 12.
My innocence, our innocence has been taken from us. I am 17, but in a matter of days, I have aged decades. Where is the common sense in these laws? Because of the systematic failure of our government,
the FBI,
on every level.
The FBI, the local police.
Every day.
Every day they're dying in the abortion clinics. Yeah, in the abortion clinics. Yeah, you're right.
People in the government who are voted into power are lying to us. And us kids seem to be the only ones
ones who notice and are prepared to call BS. They say that no laws
Oh my
have been able to
gosh.
prevent the hundreds
This is so-
of senseless tragedies that have occurred. We call BS. That us kids don't know what we're talking about, that we're too young to understand how the government works. We call BS. If you agree, register to
Bullshit?
vote, contact your local congresspeople.
They calling bullshit?
Give them a piece of your mind.
Yeah, I know. Adam Schiff is a liar.
Not enough. What we need is action. And through that action, you guys need to get out and vote and hold your elected officials accountable. Run for office. Get out there and show that you care. The people in the special interests that want to pass these gun laws to make it easier for these people to get guns are not going to stop, and we can't either.
This is about showing everybody that this will never happen again. This isn't about just sending thoughts and prayers anymore, as much as those help. This is about changing it. Thank you.
So that's just some of the footage there from one of the rallies that these students are having. I mean, what do you say? What do you do? Why would you be using these kids to promote your political agenda? Think about that. Why would you have to use victims and children to advance your political agenda? You know why? Because you cannot advance your political agenda based on merit. You cannot advance your political agenda based on success, based on history. So what do? They use virtue. They use emotion. They use fabrication. They use lies because they cannot advance their political agenda based on merit. I don't want to sit here and say that these kids are being coached or they're being told what to say or they're being trained. I'd rather sit here and say these kids are victims. They're obviously in shock. They're driven by emotion right now. They're confused. They want answers. They want results, and they're young. I'll be honest with you. Now, I don't know. I really don't know. I wasn't even that much into politics, to be honest with you. In fact, I wasn't into it at all until maybe when I got into college, and that's when I started to endure the liberal indoctrination. And I fell for this stuff. I said, yeah, let's ban all the guns. I've talked about it. But that's why they're using the children, because they know a well-rounded individual is not going to sit here and attack a child that's a victim. And they also know that they can use that emotion to try to tug at your heartstrings. But I need to play these clips. So let's now go to David Hogg, guys, clip 5. Now, again, I didn't want to touch this. I didn't want to touch Hogg's father being in the FBI. I didn't want to touch this video. I didn't want to touch the old video of him in California. I didn't want to touch any of this. I'm sick of this. Every time I have to cover a shooting, it's brutal enough to have to sit here and cover it. Now every time, it's like an explosive cigar with different angles here and different angles here. It's just crazy. So here's David Hogg, who can't remember his lines while being interviewed for television.
Because we had a fire alarm earlier that day, and that was a drill. So we thought this was a drill too, just another one. Because we have a lot of fire alarms, a lot of fire drills at the school. After we heard the first gunshot, we initially thought it was a drill. Actually, that was a bad choice. Hold on.
It's okay, you're fine.
Actually, that was a bad choice because the janitor, sorry.
It's okay, you're fine, David, you're fine.
Honestly, when I was going out, I was kind of in, I wasn't, hold on.
It's okay.
When I was going out, I was in shock.
Yes, I don't know how to put this in perspective. Okay.
So most of my friends that made it out, one of them went into a bathroom in the same, I believe in the same hallway as the shooter. Oh, hold on.
It's okay.
One of them went into the same bathroom, I believe, as the hallway shooter. He was in there at the same time, and he was in the bathroom, and he didn't know if he was going to live.
Okay. Now, is that David Hogg being told what to say, struggling to get out his lines? Or is he camera shy? I mean, what's the deal there? It's pretty strange stuff. You'd think if you were just giving an account of the honest truth and what you experienced, that you wouldn't struggle like that. Again, folks, I didn't want to do this. These are kids, okay? This is awful. 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 This is aw there it is. There you go. And there's more. There's more. And you notice, though, that the media is only pushing one narrative from these students, but there's actually other students out there.
And secure your bottle now. That's InfoWarsLife.com.